Member of Congress, the witness, gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Bishop, for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Chairwoman Napolitano and Ranking Member Rouser. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today to ask that the subcommittee give the fullest consideration to my Water Resources Development Act requests. I also want to commend the leadership of Chairman DeFazio and Ranking Member Graves for their important work on this issue as well. I submitted 5 requests to the committee which will address long-standing environmental and infrastructure concerns that have an impact on Georgia's 2nd Congressional District and throughout the state. My first priority is to address the perennial problem of aquatic invasive species, particularly hydrilla, that have plagued Lake Seminole for the past 20 years. Many areas of the lake are inaccessible because of hydrilla and aggressive weeds. It negatively affects water quality, the economy, the biosphere, and local businesses. I'm joined by both Congressman Lawson and Congressman Dunn of Florida in asking that the subcommittee identify hydrilla as an additional aquatic invasive species of concern by amending Section 1108 of the Water Resources Development Act of 2018, which directs the Army Corps of Engineers to research their prevention, management, and eradication. Adding hydrilla to the list will emphasize the range of aquatic invasive species that plague the U.S. waterways, as well as it will focus the Corps of Engineers' attention on hydrilla, a particularly pernicious plant. My next 2 requests would greatly improve water quality and water infrastructure in Albany, Georgia. One request would address combined sewer overflow. During hard rains, millions of gallons of sewage mixed with hundreds of millions of gallons of rainwater, and this results in an unhealthy discharge into the Flint River. While the city's made progress separating the overflow, they would benefit from federal support of separate sewage from the rainwater. For this project, I'm requesting an authorization of $105 million in funding for this environmental infrastructure project. The next project for Albany involves the city's floodplain. July marked the 27th remembrance of the 1994 flood, which was a 500-year flood that literally submerged Albany and separated the city with floodwaters from the Flint River. The Albany State University campus was up to its rooftops and, of course, followed 4 years later by another 500-year flood that had the same results. The people in Albany still remember the tragedies that resulted from that. And so Albany still being flood prone, we're asking that the subcommittee support my request for a study on the feasibility of modifying the landscape to reduce the city's potential. My 4th request focuses on Georgia's maritime shipping infrastructure. As Dean of the Georgia Congressional Delegation, I join my friend and colleague Buddy Carter in requesting a study to determine the feasibility of widening the Savannah Harbor to accommodate a greater throughput of large vessels to ensure that the South's busiest port can keep pace with the ever-growing demand for maritime shipping. The Port of Savannah is the pride of Georgia, particularly in its role as the biggest, busiest, and most economically productive port in the region. The Savannah Harbor Expansion Project has completed many of its milestones since construction commenced in 2015. However, the existing federal channels still cannot adequately support the influx of newer, larger vessels that are calling on the port. Further improvements to the Savannah Harbor will undoubtedly spur economic activity in Georgia and the broader Southeast region. Finally, I'm requesting that the Corps of Engineers study the feasibility of utilizing a forecast-informed reservoir operation system in the Apalachicola-Chattahoochee-Flint River Basin. The FIRO system is an approved core policy and a flexible and adaptive water management tool to help water managers make decisions about holding back or releasing water from reservoirs based on modern meteorological, river flow, and other forecasting methods and metrics. With climate change causing increased rainfalls and intermittent drought, forecast-informed reservoir operations in the ACF River Basin will provide the necessary flexibility to meet future climate conditions. I'm grateful for the opportunity to testify on behalf of my word of request. I look forward to working with the committee to provide information and to answer any further questions. Thank you, and I yield back the balance of my time, 20 seconds.
Thank you for your prompt response.